Hello, I'm Michael Byrne. Although it's traditionally been used only for floors, self-leveling underlayment makes an excellent base for a countertop. And as you'll see, when properly reinforced, self-leveling underlayment makes an extremely strong countertop. In this segment, I'll show you how to set up and pour with the least amount of stress. Detailed surface prep, critical to a successful pour, begins with a clean 3/4 inch plywood top. Next, seams and small holes need to be caulked to prevent leaks. With that done, I turn my attention to the backbone of the top, a continuous strand of reinforcing wire. I like to bend the wire before the primer or mesh are installed. 9-gauge galvanized wire is available from masonry supply yards in 100-pound rolls. I use the weight of the coils to help keep the wire flat while bending, and to maximize the strength of the installation, cut enough wire to encircle the entire top with one piece. However you decide to do it, with nails or spring clamps, one piece or several, the wire should be staked for easier bending. Reinforcing is just as important at inside edges, like this stove cutout. Priming prevents the plywood from suctioning moisture from the SLU mix. Plastic lath is available, but for maximum strength, I prefer to use galvanized. It's important to trim the mesh about 1/8 inch from the edge so it doesn't interfere with the forms. I prefer to use backerboard screws for countertop SLU installations and save considerable time and energy setting the screws with a hammer. After the mesh is fastened, I begin to secure the wire, weaving it between screws and V-bending areas that need shortening. The wire should rest lightly atop the mesh. Once the countertop is tiled, the joint made by this strip will prevent movement in either the countertop or the backsplash from damaging tiles in the interface zone. The 3/16 inch thick self-adhesive tape I use for residential work and 1/4 inch tape I use for commercial is available from building suppliers and RV dealers. The tape is covered with a bond-breaking paper that won't stick to the SLU. I use a variety of materials to dam the top. For this curve, staples and 15-pound felt paper work well. Tar paper and staples are also useful for small openings like this sink cutout with rounded corners. For most straight runs, though, strips of scrap drywall or plywood screwed tightly against the edge are more stable than tar paper. To keep the drywall dams from suctioning moisture from the SLU mix, I cover them with black paper. With an SLU, the dams don't have to be level, but a straight line penciled on the back of this drywall helps ensure that screws hit wood. This setup will provide a strong level base for ceramic or stone tiles. To produce a standalone cast countertop requires a far more detailed setup and more refined forming materials. As well, a different self-leveling mix must be used. When all sections are secured, a bit of duct tape where they meet will complete the dam. As extra insurance against cracks appearing wherever the top turns a corner, I lay in a 4 to 5 foot section of 9 gauge and bend the ends for more solid anchoring. As a final step before mixing the SLU, caulk any openings in the dam system that would allow the mix to drain through. The lot numbers for all 4 sacks needed on this top should be identical. I use a large plastic tub for mixing and buckets for transferring the prepared SLU to the countertop. The beauty of working with SLU is that dams don't have to be precise, but I do have to help the materials flow through narrow sections. For the strongest results, schedule pours when construction or traffic is not vibrating the site. Form should not be stripped until the SLU has cured, achieved its anticipated strength, and lost excess moisture. Don't wait too long to sand and finish the top, because the SLU will continue to harden even after minimum curing. Most stainless steel sinks can be installed beneath surface bullnose trim without modifying the SLU setting bed. But for rims thicker than about 1/32 of an inch, I cut a recess in the freshly cured SLU with a router and a carbide bit. Additional time is required for curing if the SLU is covered with a membrane or large porcelain tile. I hope you've picked up some useful tips in this segment, and invite you to check out the others in the series. Let's see. Sit on this thing. There. Lined up right? Yeah. Up on the edge of the stove. Is that lined up? Yep. There's all laughing in that.